Good morning, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news at 9 for this morning, Saturday, October 19, 2024, Energy Minister Dalva says there seems to be a disconnect with customer reports to the JPS and the response time as it relates to power outages. Over $600 million in hurricane relief has been delivered under the Rebuild Jamaica initiative. Young Jamaica rejects as unfounded calls for MP Everett Warmington to be removed from Parliament's Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. While in news from the region, Government of Barbados mulls road tax for heavy goods vehicles. On the international scene, dozens reported killed in Israeli strikes on northern Gaza as Israel says PM's home targeted by drone. While in sports, New Zealand need 107 runs on the final day to beat India in the first test in Bengaluru. The details after this. Energy Minister Dalva says there seems to be a disconnect with customer reports to the Jamaica Public Service Company JPS and the response time as it relates to power outages. His comment follows renewed criticism of the Light and Power Company. Minister Vaz notes that JPS is still in the process of doing remedial work on its grid for the damage caused by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. And we apologize for the absence of those inserts from Energy Minister Dal Vaz, who was speaking during Nationwide at 5 on Friday. Meanwhile, Minister Vaz says residents of rural communities in St. Mary and Port Royal in Kingston have been experiencing regular power outages even before Hurricane Beryl in July. And we will take a short break. We'll be right back.
You've just heard
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come on, let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Those oldies but goodies reminds me of you.
Good morning, and we apologize for the break in the presentation of the newscast. We will now continue. Energy Minister Dalva says there seems to be a disconnect with customer reports to the Jamaica Public Service Company JPS and the response time as it relates to power outages. His comment follows renewed criticism of the Light and Power Company.
The outages remain frequent, and in some cases the outages are going for long periods of time. I had a situation where I got a call from a good friend of mine up in Cooper's Hill, Red Hills, who told me that they had not had power for 2 days, and despite the calls to JPS, I reached out to the president, and lo and behold, power was restored. So there is a breakdown in relation to the report and the response and the methodology of reporting, because everybody is going using the app now. Expect that the app and the reporting of the app is what triggers the system, and that's not fully okay with the Jamaican mentality, especially in the rural areas, in terms of being tech savvy. So I've raised that with the JPS several times, that their system has to be a dual system.
Minister Vaz notes that JPS is still in the process of doing remedial work on its grid following the damage caused by the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
What they're saying is that despite the fact that they were able to bring back power, the system itself and the grid is still not up to scratch, meaning that if a tree falls on a line, then obviously it's not just that area of where the damage has taken place, or the outages go far from there in terms of that, and they're having several problems with that in terms of poles that were damaged and they are not fully restored because they still are not up to standard. However, they did say that they are well aware of it and that they are moving apace to try and deal with it. They did tell me that it would take a little time, and they promised to give me a more detailed report coming out of that meeting.
Dal Vaz, Energy Minister, he was speaking during Nationwide at 5 on Friday. Meanwhile, Minister Vaz says residents of rural communities in St. Mary and Port Royal in Kingston have been experiencing regular power outages even before Hurricane Beryl in July.
The maintenance of the grid pre-Beryl was unsatisfactory, because remember, we did have several complaints from parishes and districts. I can remember the former Mayor Cleary on your program speaking about half of St. Mary not having light for days. That was nothing with Beryl, and that was no breeze blow or heavy rain. So the system is definitely in need of serious upgrading. Every day for the last week, my phone has blown up with messages coming out of Port Royal in relation to half of the town having and half not having, half having and the other low voltage or none at all. So these are major problems, because this affects the livelihood and productivity of the Jamaican person.
Dal Vaz, Energy Minister. Over $600 million in Hurricane Beryl relief has been delivered under the Rebuild Jamaica initiative. That's according to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. In a statement on Friday, the ministry said 82% of households confirmed to have suffered damage from Hurricane Beryl have received reconstruction checks. It says 6,828 checks valued at $608 million have been delivered to beneficiaries in all parishes as at October 15. The highest delivery rate is in Westmoreland at 94%. This is followed by the parishes of St. Catherine and St. James at 92% each. Meanwhile, the ministry says it is in the process of delivering an additional 2,200 checks valued at $200 million through the parish offices and community locations in several parishes. This is while simultaneously continuing the processes of verifying documentation and check preparation for other claimants. And preparations are also underway to start disbursing the second tranche payments to households whose houses were totally destroyed. The ministry says this process should get underway by the end of October. The ministry is urging affected persons who have not been contacted to contact its offices in the respective parishes for assistance. The youth arm of the Jamaica Labour Party, Young Jamaica, is rejecting as baseless a politically motivated calls by the PNP Patriots for the removal of Member of Parliament Errol Warmington from Parliament's Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. Young Jamaica issued a statement on Friday. Mahira Stewart has the details.
According to Young Jamaica, calls for MP Warmington to be removed from the Parliament's Integrity Commission Oversight Committee are not only unfounded, but are clearly intended to sow division and undermine the important work being done by the committee. The PNP Patriots have condemned Mr. Warmington's call for an audit of the Integrity Commission. It says this, coupled with his absence from the committee meeting last Tuesday, at which the Commission's latest annual report was discussed, demonstrates that he is unfit to continue serving. According to the Patriots, the MP's removal is necessary to restore public trust. However, Young Jamaica says the Patriots have presented no substantive evidence to support their claims against Mr. Warmington. They say his comments regarding an audit at the Integrity Commission reflects concerns shared by many Jamaicans concerning the proper governance and proper assessment of the IC and other such agencies of the state. Young Jamaica says raising legitimate questions does not undermine the work of the Commission. According to the group, it instead encourages transparency and accountability, the very principles the Commission was created to uphold. Young Jamaica says a thorough report on the operations of the IC would be conducted by an independent body reposed with analyzing the work of the IC in adherence to the Code of Law and public regulations. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
A 48-hour curfew has been imposed in the Greenfield community in Westmoreland. The districts affected are Geneva, Top Lincoln, Kings Valley, Belle Isle Road, and Crowder. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Friday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. Sunday, October 20. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. And a 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of the St. Andrew North Police Division. The curfew began at 6 p.m. Friday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. Sunday, October 20. The areas affected are Erie Castle Road, Brooks Level Road, Golden Spring Road, Seaview Road, Lipscomb Avenue, and Stony Hill. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within its boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. And now to news in the region. The government in Barbados is contemplating a program to make owners of heavy-duty vehicles contribute to the cost of maintaining the roads they wear out. The Ministry of Transport and Works is expected to play a key role in implementing any new accountability measures for heavy goods vehicles operators, according to Prime Minister Mia Mottley. No specific timeline or details of the proposed program were provided during the latest Parish Speaks Town Hall meeting where it was announced. Speaking at the Christchurch Foundation School on Wednesday night, Motley suggested that these vehicles are significantly affecting the durability of the island's roads. Responding to a resident's complaint about the state of roads in Christchurch, Motley said, "We are going to have to agree on those roads that are suitable for heavy-duty traffic because not every road is suitable for heavy-duty traffic." To news now on the international scene. At least 33 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza, Hamas-run authorities say. Israel has not commented. Israeli forces have been besieging the densely populated camp in recent weeks, saying it's trying to prevent Hamas fighters from regrouping. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar's death this week raised hopes to an end to the war, but Iran's supreme leader says the group will remain alive. Meanwhile, Benjamin Netanyahu's office says a drone was launched towards the Israeli Prime Minister's home in Sassara, northern Israel, but he wasn't there at the time. Fighting is continuing in Lebanon, where Israel's military says it killed about 60 Hezbollah fighters and destroyed its regional command center. Hezbollah says it fired rockets at the Israeli city of Haifa and areas to the north. And now to sports. New Zealand needed 107 runs on the final day to beat India in the first test in Bengaluru. The Kiwis bowled India out for 462 on day 4 before Badlai stopped play 4 balls into their chase. Safaris Khan hit 150 and Ripa Pant 99 for India as they looked to pull off one of the most famous victories in cricket after being dismissed for just 46 in their first innings. That pair guided India into the lead with just 3 second innings wickets down, but the hosts lost 7 for 54 with a second new ball to set New Zealand 107 to win. Seamers Matt Henry and Will O'Rourke took 3 for 102 and 3 for 92 respectively, having shared 9 wickets in the first innings. New Zealand are looking for their first test win in India since 1988. Pant 99 came after he suffered a knee injury on day 2 and remained off the field on the 3rd day. It was the same knee he injured in a serious car crash in December 2022, keeping him out for more than a year. After the first day was washed out, India's first innings 46 on day 2 was the 3rd lowest total in their test history and lowest at home. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. Energy Minister Darva says there seems to be a disconnect with customer reports to the JPS and the response time as it relates to power outages. Over $600 million in Hurricane Barry relief has been delivered under the Rebuild Jamaica initiative. Young Jamaica rejects as unfounded calls for MP Evan Warmington to be removed from Parliament's Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. And in news from the region, Government of Barbados mulls road tax for heavy goods vehicles. Remember, you can find the news on nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at midday.
You've just heard Nationwide News Now at 9.
Outperform, outlast. We top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Built it, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
You've weathered the storm, but rebuilding and preparing for back to school have taken a toll. It's time to get some money in your pocket. At Chris and Charles, we understand your financial needs. With just a quick call, you can access funds to catch up on bills and cover unexpected expenses. Our process is fast, simple, with funds deposited in your account in no time. Don't stress, get money in your pocket. Call 876-926-0609 or visit our website today. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
If me asleep, a nation